Power Station with chic drummer Tony Thompson and blue-eyed soul singer Robert Palmer.
We went out on a limb to prove to ourselves, and then had this extraordinary feedback of people that we never even thought would get in the same room as us, let alone make a record with us.
Hey, tell you what, Power Station gave Robert Palmer the most amazing kickstart to his career. That came out of it. Yeah. I mean, I just wish I'd been the frontman for that group.
In the summer of '85, Simon, Nick, and Roger formed Arcadia and recorded an album with several high-profile guest stars.
Oh, what an amazing time we had. Incredible. It was a good lineup. You know, Dave Gilmour, Sting, Grace Jones. I mean, it was an amazing lineup.
We'd moved out of England because the hysteria was still raging there. And we were kind of fed up of not being able to go shopping or not being able to walk down the street.
So we went off to Paris. Nick was not going to sit around doing nothing, while Andy and John were off doing Power Station. So I thought I was going to have a holiday.
Arcadia and the Power Station met with critical and commercial success, but ironically that success ultimately hurt the popularity of Duran Duran.
I think the kids and the fans got confused and said, if these five guys can't stay together, then why should we keep our loyalty to them?
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It takes everybody's eye off the ball, but at the same time, working with other musicians helps to stimulate the centre. At least that's the theory.
In July of '85, Duran Duran got back together to support a good cause.
Live Aid was quite something for everyone involved. We signed on very early with Bob Geldof, who'd sort of called Simon and said, will you do it?
The five members of Duran Duran hadn't played together for a year and a half. Live Aid would prove a fateful reunion.
It was funny, all five of us being together, and of course we didn't know on that day that we wouldn't be making records together anymore.
Live Aid, 1985. The last time we were actually all together.
Never all been in the same room. Came close, but no cigar.
Coming up, a racing accident nearly claims the life of Simon Le Bon.
The keel came off the boat. Just basically floated down the bottom of the sea.
25 seconds later, we were swimming for our lives.
And drummer Roger Taylor sheds his celebrity skin.
He'd had enough of the music business, and he didn't want to come back.
When Behind the Music continues.
Sometimes you want
Hungry Love. At the Live Aid benefit in July of 1985, the five original members of Duran Duran reunited for what would be their last performance together. After Live Aid, John and Andy Taylor returned to concert touring with the Power Station, while Simon Le Bon joined the band's managers on a dangerous yacht racing adventure.
I mean, fancy having two managers that actually persuade a lead singer of a band to put all his money into making a boat and then going around the world in a race in it instead of writing a song.
I think they all kind of thought it was a bit stupid and boats should be tied up and sort of like basically floating bars.
But he does like all that action man stuff, you know, motorbikes. Anything that moves fast, I think, is the criteria.
On August 10th, 1985, Simon and Duran's managers, Paul and Michael Barrow, were aboard their racing yacht Drum off the coast of England, running in the dangerous 600-mile Fastnet race. 5 hours after the start of the race, disaster struck.
But 5 hours out from the start, we were in third place, and I was inside the boat, and there's an almighty bang.
Imagine an oak tree not being sawn down, but just being ripped down by a giant.
The keel came off the boat. Just basically floated down the bottom of the sea. The boat lost its stability completely and slowly went over.
25 seconds later, we were swimming for our lives, except for Simon and four other guys who were trapped under the hull.
All of the sheets, lines on the deck, naturally when the boat was upside down, they all hung down like sort of Portuguese man of war, really. You just had all these tentacles. So the guys inside the boat, as they were looking through the hatch, which was now inverted, could see the lines. So no one was too keen to go diving down there because they could have got their legs wrapped up in the ropes.
You better accept the fact that there's probably somebody's not going to come out of this.
And we hear this screaming from the back, this guy screaming that he was drowning. I can remember the sound of his voice and the terror in this guy's voice.
As the boat turned, a whole sail had fallen on him, so he was trapped under a sail with battery acid and God knows what.
But when we went over, we must have taken on a ton of water. He was completely submerged and he was slowly drowning.
And Simon heard the muffled cry, waded down through there, and he and the guys, I'd say just about saved his life.
We just threw these sails off and ripped through the webbing of the bottom of his pipe cot and pulled him out of that.
He handled it marvellously, Simon, marvellously.
This is the hardest part. Staying alive is the hard bit. Dying is easy. It's really true. It's the easiest thing just to let go. The hardest thing is to hold on.
We thought it was all over when we were in the water. I remember Michael and I looking at each other, and I think Michael turned around to me and said, "We've really done it this time, haven't we?" And I thought, yeah.
Within an hour of the accident, rescue divers saved Simon and the other trapped crewmen.
When Simon got off that boat, when I first saw him, I mean, the guys were they were all jumping around like maniacs. They were so high. I've never witnessed anything like that in my life. It's been an enlightening experience being married to Simon.
It was an amazing thing, actually. It got me on the cover of People magazine. I don't think anything else would at that time.
Undaunted, Simon and the Barrows were determined to race again. 6 weeks after Simon nearly drowned, they entered the Whitbread race, an 8-month, 27,000-mile high seas sprint around the world.
To have that happen to you, and then to say, well, if you three will carry on, we're prepared to give it another go. This is after you've just been wiped out.
They were still tuning the rig after the cannon had been let off at the start of the race. We completed the race in the end, against the odds, came in third, and it was a great experience.
We came third. It's always bloody number 3 for us.
In the wake of Simon's yacht racing adventures, the members of Duran drifted further apart.